Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Matrix podcast. My name is Martin Ivanov.
Hello from me, Trifon Getzev as well.
Yeah, for those of you who are here for the first time, this is a podcast where we talk about software architecture and more specifically ServiceNow architecture. And we already had two episodes describing our overall DocOps practice and the way that we document technical solutions over the C4 model. Today, we are talking about enterprise architecture with the help of the ArchiMate notation. And just to introduce, ArchiMate is a specification which was developed by the Open Group, and it's an open, independent language that is used by different consulting firms, different vendors, and so on. Usually, it is compared with the drawing in the classical building architecture, and it provides different shapes, different colors, and different groupings in order to describe the overall enterprise landscape of the customer in order to get better overview and be able to get clear decisions on the software architecture. Over to you, Trifon, to describe the global use case and how do we use this thing in our day-to-day life.
Yeah, out of the theory, as Marty mentioned, the use case behind ArchiMate in our team is that we use it to get the high level overview of customer businesses used during workshops and requirement gathering, more or less. What we capture using the ArchiMate is the support and delivery model of organization. And normally we use it in a live session during the workshops, as mentioned, where we ask questions and we collect requirements. And when we craft this whole holistic overview, we ask the Mr. Customer to validate if what has been drawn actually is the reality, and we take this as kind of the first more detailed requirements which we use to craft a solution, more or less. And of course, around this whole thing, we use it to identify the ServiceNow capabilities, right? What exactly from ServiceNow capabilities we want to use in the corresponding customer project or whatsoever. And in the next few minutes, actually, the idea of today's podcast with Marty is to really showcase the real way how we use this thing in our practice. Marty will play the role of a customer ABC from industry that he will select, and I will play the role of a consultant 1 to 3 from a consulting company. And we'll actually play the whole thing in a real life workshop, more or less. I'll be asking questions, Marty will answer, we'll collaborate, and at the end we'll craft kind of a holistic view, which Marty will validate as Mr. Customer, and hopefully we'll make it interesting to you guys. So, welcome, Mr. Customer ABC. How are you today? Can you give us some short introduction for your company and what actually you do and what's the target for today's workshop?
Sure. Thanks for the warm welcome. We actually are a classical financial institution, not like the fintechs. We still have offices, multiple locations, a whole lot of employees. And in order to deliver the services to our customers, we have a lot of IT infrastructure as well. And without no matter the fact that we're a classical institution, we still want to be on the trend, and we want to modernize the way that we deliver our services, not only for our customers, but also to our internal employees. Basically, we want them to become happy every single day.
All righty, let's start with the first simple question. What's the name of the company you work for?
The company is money making fiction, I don't know, company.
Okay,
Money making
GHG.
fish company.
Okay. Money making company, right? All righty. And
Yeah,
now, Mr. Customer ABC, what's your role in this organization?
I am the service manager, and I'm also already taking care of the whole thing. But now I'll be also taking the role of a platform owner once we get the service now implemented.
All righty. Cool. Let's start then with the real case scenario. My first question towards you, just to understand better who exactly you serve as customer, actually is the first grouping that we focus on. It's called actors and roles. So my first question, in terms of the quick sketch that I'm crafting here, is who are you serving? Which are the primary actors or stakeholders involved in this process from your perspective?
Yeah, as I mentioned already, this will be our employees because they are the people who are consuming the services that we provide.
Okay. So if I get you right, basically you're providing more or less services to your internal employees, and let me guess, these are IT services, right?
Yes, these are IT services.
Okay, cool. So what I added here under the grouping actors and roles are the internal customer, aka employees that you serve, and those guys in
Mm-hmm.
general, they have the business role called IT services requester. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically they two things. They request services, and whenever they have issues with the services, they report the issues. We create incidents and try to resolve their issues.
Okay, perfect. This answered a little bit the next question that I would ask, but it's good that we actually started collaborating in this session early in the workshop. But basically, the next question that I would ask is which organization from your company actually serves that demand, right? From support and delivery standpoint. So here I would call this grouping organizational unit that serve it. So can you explain a little bit more about the process of serving or delivering services? Is this the way you explained it? In my understanding is that you have something like a service desk that can receive that demand. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah, we have the service desk, which is we have of course a few lines, but the first one is the first service desk, and then we have more skilled engineers who are taking the more complex cases. But the first point of interaction is the service desk.
All righty. From experience, I know that some companies, they, in addition to the service desk, they also have kind of a automated or self-service pane. Is that correct for your case as well?
Yes, this is correct. We have few services. Our goal is to increase the number of these, but we have few services where the internal customers, as you name them, can go to something which is called service portal or internal portal. They can request something which is automatically fulfilled and they get the result.
Perfect. So next thing that I will ask here is more or less what exactly is the business object that your department that you're leading actually provides to end customer. But I think I answered this one already. It's the IT service catalog business object, right? More or less. This is what you provide
Yeah, yeah.
to. Go on.
I was about to ask you for a little. I was about to ask you for a little bit more context. What do you mean by business object? But when you named it, IT service catalog, actually get what you mean. Yeah, this is correct. This is the place where we publish all of our services, which are requestable by the by the internal customers.
Yeah, exactly. So here the idea of the business object is the idea is that you have an object and someone should interact with the object, right? And in this case, the service catalog, the service desk actually is consuming the IT service catalog in terms of support and delivery, right? In most of the cases, in order to serve your actors, right, or customers. And in here, we'll actually capture the self-service component like that. But it should be the opposite, in the opposite direction. So the self-service is like this, and the service desk is consuming the IT service catalog business object. Now the interesting thing is the next thing actually is can we describe the service that actually stays behind that business object? What exactly is the business service, right? Business service that compose this business object, right? And here I'll try to help you, because this is it's not a complex scenario, and basically here we have some kind of overlapping, but from architectural point of view, all of those things, they have a semantic meaning, right? And we cannot skip those. But in this case, the business service, I guess, is the so-called IT services business service, right? This is something that you provide to end customers, and those business service should have immediate value for them, right? In that scenario, your internal employees, they can order something from the business service IT services, and they get immediate value, right? They can order a keyboard, they
Yes,
can order
yeah,
a mouse, and so on
exactly.
and so on.
It can be
Perfect.
software installation, it can be access to some systems, but yeah, we have different categories, but basically, yeah, all of them are IT services.
Yeah, perfect. And here, very good that you try to collaborate and extend the examples that I provide, because in this way you're not directly, but you're giving me a context which I haven't asked yet, right? Which is the best way in terms of collaboration. And now we go to the real part of the whole enterprise sketching. Basically, how you actually serve that business service, right? And this is more or less the interesting part. These are the business processes, right? And we already mentioned that you're kind of a legacy organization, right? And as legacy organization, I think I can guess that you're using a standard ITSM set of services to serve that business service. Is that correct, or there is some other
Yeah,
nuances?
I don't really like the word legacy, but let's go with the traditional company. And yeah, you're right. We are using the standard IT service management according to the ITO best practice.
Perfect. What from the ITSM you have? Is it only request and incident, or you also have standard change?
No, at the moment we have, because we are in the middle of the transition, we have implemented the incident management in order to quickly resolve the issues and restore service to the customers. And we have, as we mentioned many times, we have the request management as well, which is basically serving this the self-service, but also the things that can be requested through the service desk. And we are in the process of implementing the change and the problem, but I think that we will first need to think about our most important prerequisite, which is the foundation data, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're
Yeah.
very well prepared.
So, so,
Uh,
so we've been discussing internally and with our consultants that we want to implement the processes also, but we want to make it the right way. And we decided first to focus on our data, and to put it in a good shape in order to have a seamless implementation of the change and the problem management processes.
This is $1 million strategy, by the way. This is very rare that enterprise organization focuses on data first and then they create a demand. You're already there. Let's call it like that. The
Yeah,
simple
but
thing that you the simple thing that you have this idea and the plan in your head as you just describe it, it's almost 90% of the whole journey. So well done.
yes, yes, but it didn't come overnight. This is our third or fourth transformation, and this is a lesson learned. The previous times we did it without the proper data, and it always failed. So this time we decided
Mhm.
to have our final transformation, at least for now, but we decided to make it the good way. Of course, it takes a little bit more time to put everything into shape, but I think that the return on investment afterwards will be higher.
Perfect. Very good. But this normally happens almost everywhere, right? Such type of transformation programs normally where they struggle is that no one owns the data model. So the whole program stucks, right, for some time. Most likely you experience it that way. The organization does not want to change. And after some time, the program becomes too expensive to continue. And then after 1 year, you restart, and after 1 year, you restart, and so on and so on. But very good about the latest and greatest decision you made.
Yeah, thank you. By the way, may I ask you something before you continue?
Go on.
This this yellow color of the objects that you put on canvas, did you choose it by
Mhm.
chance or is there any meaning behind that?
No, very good question. I was about to cover this when we finish the whole sketch, but again, during a workshop, you as the Mr. Customer, you are allowed to interrupt me and ask questions, and this one is very relevant. As you can see here, the tooling that I'm using, it's Lucidchart. It does not matter. It has out of the box ArchiMate notation support. And as part of the ArchiMate, normally we have different types of categories of object notations. So the yellow one, it goes under the category of business, right? So up to until now, we have been describing all of the business objects that are involved in the whole process with the actor and roles, right? Those are more or less business related objects. Then the organizational unit that serve the end customers. Then the business object that is defining what exactly is provided to end customers, and the business service and the business processes behind that object, right? The IT service catalog, let's call it like that, and the business processes, right, like incident and request. And I will speed up here the things and will give you a little bit more explanation around what we want to do here. And that thing is the next level of details. It's the application domain, right? And this application domain now we'll introduce the other type of objects, the application objects, and this is the IT application that actually provides the business service incident, for example, or request. Giving you an example. In ServiceNow, you have an ITSM service application, right? And
Mhm.
this ITSM application, in general, it's coming with as an application with ServiceNow, right? And on top of that application, you can craft your own incident process or request process or whatsoever, anything from the ITSM stack. And here, this is what I'll put here. The realize the ITSM service, the ITSM service application, right? It's the one that on top of it you build your incident process. This is normally how you craft it right now, right?
Yeah, We get
All right.
the out-of-the-box incident management module, and then we implement our specific needs over it.
Yeah. And the application collaboration here, the ITSM service application uses a collaboration with the IT services catalog. This is in general how it works. So this collaboration is used by the ITSM service. I guess you have a technical IT service catalog, right, on top of the instance where you have configured most. Yeah, perfect.
And
So,
can you speak a little bit about the difference between this IT service catalog and the one that we put up about on the yellow part of the sketch?
yeah,
A
again,
little bit
this is
up.
this object, right? The business object.
Yes,
This one you're
yes,
talking
yes.
about. Yeah. So in general, this business object, the main idea is that this business object should bring some value to the end customer and should wrap under it some type of business services, right? So under this IT services catalog, right, this is more or less a business object that brings immediate value to end customer, and this IT service catalog is more or less the holistic explanation of the things. What exactly is the value for the end customer? What type of services can they consume under it, right, that are grouped under it? While this IT service catalog here is the technical implementation of the whole thing, right? The exact catalog items that the ITSM application service is using to craft your proprietary incident process, for example.
All right, I get it.
Cool. And the last one, I won't directly ask a question because we know that you're using ServiceNow. But the last thing that we'll craft today is the technology services layer, right? Grouping, and this technology services layer more or less describes the technology used for providing those applications, right? In some cases, this could be the infrastructure. In some other cases, the platform, right? And in your scenario, more or less, this thing is the ServiceNow platform, right? So here I'll craft ServiceNow dev. What exactly is the instance setup you have? Is it only dev and prod, or you have three instances? Three instance setup?
We have dev, test, and prod in order to ensure that we have more testing along the way, and we deploy to prod only what's being tested by the technical teams, but also by the business.
Okay, cool. So what I crafted here is release. So what I crafted here, it's not necessary we to describe the underlying deployment of the service now, because this is more or less a software as a service, right thing. So I only crafted.
Yeah.
I drawn only the instance setup you have. So you have a dev instance and production instance, right? And both of these instances, they're actually provisioning the ITSM service and the IT service catalog. They're running on top of those two instances, right? In general.
Yeah,
so
we have also the test instance, but I don't think that we need to put it in here. Maybe we can, but it won't change the current setup that we described. Maybe one question: this arrow that you have from the ServiceNow dev to the application service and above, should it be there in the case where only production is the one that's actually delivering the service to the customers?
Very how to say, very punctual question, but I liked it. In general, yes and no. Why yes? Because on top of Dev instance, you also have ITSM service and the catalog, right? You build them there.
Right. Yeah.
So in general, we could say that the Dev actually is provisioning the whole setup. But here, the situation that we are trying to capture, like the current state of operandi, is more or less from production point of view. So this arrow could be considered redundant in this scenario, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we want to present a holistic
it
view, not. Mhm.
Exactly, yeah. I agree with you that it makes sense to be there, but it might be confusing if not explained properly.
Yeah, exactly. So here, I think we did excellent job. I'll quickly go over the whole sketch just to see if you can conceptualize it, and then it will be open for any type of questions. During those 20 something minutes, we went through the actors and roles that your department, as part of the money making company, that is serving. So the actors and roles, as mentioned, internal customer employees, they have the IT services requester role. The organizational unit that actually is serving them is the service desk. They also can do a self-service, which is highlighted here. The business object that this service desk is consuming is the IT service catalog. This IT service catalog provides a bunch of services that the end customers can consume from the IT universe. And that business object is composed of a business service called IT services, right? And those IT services, they are served by incident and request business processes. And in the future, you want to add a standard change and problem at some time when you fix the underlying data in the same DB. Of course, you use as a runtime. You use the ServiceNow ITSM module and capabilities to realize the incident and the request management. In order to be more specific, I'll do it like that, right? And of course, the ITSM service application, it's also consuming the IT service catalog, the one you realize on top of the platform, and you have a standard setup with ServiceNow Dev instance and ServiceNow production instance. So this is more or less the overview from my side, and the overall requirement is that this process, you want to modernize it, streamline, and fix the underlying data so you can enable more capabilities on top of it, right?
Exactly, yeah. And when you read it this way, it makes absolutely perfect sense when you described it from top to bottom. So thank you for sketching this for me. Maybe one question. Now, when we finish the implementation of these processes that we just described and go, for example, to employ the ServiceNow HRSD module or any other module, are you going to expand this picture or are you going to create a similar one for the new process?
Both options are available. It really depends on your architectural team practice. If you don't have such, of course, I can guide you how to set it up, but my personal preference in the way how I normally suggest customers to do it is to keep it stupid simple always, right? Which means here I'll create support and delivery model around IT services, right? And then I can create another page called HRSD delivery and support model, right? And we'll sketch a similar one for the HRSD stuff.
Nice. Okay, good. I think that this was a really productive workshop. Now, when you have this overview of the whole setup, what will be your next steps?
Basically, out of this sketch, what I will craft is kind of a requirement matrix. I'll attach this more or less holistic picture together with the requirement matrix that I understood from workshop, and I'll send this for a sign off from you. When this is done, basically we can craft a statement of work and kick it off, more or less.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the productive workshop. All right, guys.
See you next time.
Marty? Yeah. Marty, that was
Yeah,
very tight schedule.
that was a tight schedule, but I think we did it almost perfectly. As you guys see, some of the questions I did not provide the exact answers. Now, being a consultant, I know what Trifon was going to ask me, and I knew what is the perfect answer to the questions. But I tried to simulate a little bit the behavior of the customer because they do not always know the exact answers, or they do not know the exact terminology, and that is why we are there to help them put everything on a single canvas and visualize it in front of them in order to get a complete understanding and help them drive the business transformation further. And I
Yeah.
think the
And
tool is absolutely fit fit for purpose. And yeah, I hope that you, now watching the previous episodes and this one, are becoming to see the bigger picture that we are doing in our daily jobs.
yeah, and from my side, guys, a quick feedback on the workshop that we just played around. From my side, because I know that Marty knows everything that I mentioned, I forgot to explain some of the things in more consultative way, right? But in general, this is the best way to do it: to stop on every single object, give a description, explain the notation, what exactly they are seeing, give them the thought process, right? And when they understand the thought process, normally in my practice, 100% of the customers, they collaborate much better, and they actually want to be part of this whole thing. At the end of the day, our main job is to enable them, right? Actually shine within their organization. And this type of sketches and holistic views is something that really empowers them to do that in front of their management and etc. etc.
All
So
right, I think it was a really good episode. So maybe it's time to wrap it up. And thank you for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments. Share with your fellow friends if you think that this episode is useful, and if you have ideas of what you want to see on the podcast, let us know. Bye bye for now. See you next time.
thank you guys. Bye from me as well. See ya.